Ladies and gentlemen, the long-range meta inside of Warzone is probably the best it's been in a long time. There are so many incredible options, and in today's video, I'm going to give you the top 10 best long-range weapons that you should be using, both statistically and based off of feel, and they are a blast to use. First off, I want to thank you guys so much for all the love on the previous video. It was our close range meta loadouts. That'll be linked at the end if you haven't checked it out. Not only was the viewership insane, but the love was insane. You guys know we recently welcomed into the world my first son, my first child, Harvey, and I got so much incredible love. And down below in the comments, it will be solicited if anyone has any dad advice. My son is about 3 weeks old now. I love him and open to advice. You know, some people have some pretty cool suggestions for whether he's gassy, fussy, or just some fun things to do with the little guy, because I really want to soak in these amazing moments during this, you know, precious time in his life. But we're going to get into the video. We're going to cover the stats and we're going to cover the builds. So make sure you got your screenshots ready because we got some awesome builds on the way. But first, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, and that is War Thunder. If you're anything like me, you're a military history buff. From the weapons to the history to the culture to the vehicles. And that is where War Thunder comes in with over 2,000 incredibly detailed planes, boats, ships, helicopters, and an immersive PvP free-to-play combat experience on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. There are incredible landscapes, all detailed in 4K, with immersive combat experiences ranging from thousands of vehicles from the 1920s all the way to modern era. There's no better time during the holiday season when you got a little bit of extra time to get invested. You guys know me, prior Air Force pilot. You're going to catch me up in the sky doing dogfights, recreating clips that you've probably seen across your TikTok and YouTube feed. This game is viral, it's fun to play, and it is free to play. If you want to check it out, click the link in the pinned comment and the description. New players and those that haven't played in 6 months get all the bonus content that you see on your screen right now. No better time than the holidays. Go ahead and jump into War Thunder, and a huge thank you to them for sponsoring today's video. Without further ado, let's get into the first weapon that you need to be using inside of the new update, and it is the Cat AMR, but it's a very different build than what we've been using in the past, because the Cat AMR actually got nerfed. They nerfed the bullet velocity, which I know a lot of people are disappointed with because we don't have many one-shot snipers we can use. The MW2 ones with explosive rounds are largely useless, so then you only have the Cat AMR, and then they just nerfed it. Now, I understand a one-shot sniper should be very skillful to use. Some people want to go all the way back to the Car 98 days. I don't think we go that far, but it kind of seems like we don't have any viable snipers outside of the Cat. Well, fortunately, with this build, it's actually a lot of fun to use for both close range and long range, because check it out. With this new scope, we have a variable scope that actually helps out our ADS speed. So when we're shooting from far distances, we can still rip someone's head off. But have you ever tried to track someone in a car and they're really close and you just can't turn fast enough? Well, guess what? When you throw on the less optic or the less magnification, now we can turn a lot faster, which makes this better for close range quick scoping, but still having the long range capability. On top of that, we've also made some changes to improve our bullet velocity. So with this build, we have the sonic suppressor, which helps out with 12.9% bullet velocity. But the important part here is it does not hurt our ADS speed. Some people suggest, hey man, we got to get the most bullet velocity. We're going to throw on the Bruen agent counter ops. Well, congratulations. We just added on 20% to our ADS for an extra 6% bullet velocity. Not worth it. The new scope that we're using is the Heinrichter hybrid scope, and this helps out our ADS by 4% and also helps out our ADS movement speed by 30%, so we can strafe faster, which is really good for sniper versus sniper gunfights. We've changed from the Spire Point, which used to help by an insane amount, like 40% bullet velocity. Now it doesn't help out as much, so we're throwing on high velocity, which helps out by 20%. And we don't care about losing that damage range because at the end of the day, we're really just wanting to one-shot headshot. So an extra 5% bullet velocity is going to help that bullet get to target a little bit faster. The Spire Point isn't a complete throw, but once again, a headshot is a headshot anywhere on the map. So or damage range doesn't matter. So I rock high velocity to get the most bullet velocity. From there, we're rocking the Choreo, which is going to be different than what I normally suggested, which was the FSS OLEV. Now, the Choreo is 2% faster on the ADS, 6% faster versus 4% faster. And on top of that, I don't think the laser shows up, okay? So it says laser visible in ADS, and it doesn't appear. The red laser appears 100%. If I use the FSS OLEV laser, I see a red laser coming out of my gun. I don't see a green laser coming out of my gun. And it's a little bit deceptive right here, right? Because I'm using a green dot sight. But even when I take that green dot sight off, I don't see a green laser coming out of my gun, and I don't think my opponents do either. So this is my new build for the Cat. and I really love it, and I've been putting up some good gameplay with it. Go ahead and take a screenshot right here if you haven't already. If you guys are taking a screenshot, make sure you are subscribed, because not only will we cover the best close and long range, I'm working on a weapon right now that I didn't include because I need to do some more testing, get some gameplay, run some numbers, but based off my initial results, it might just be a problem. It might just take over. We're going to have to see. I could be wrong. I might not end up posting it, but I don't want to give you guys something unless I know for sure it's going to be incredible for you to use. But off my initial testing, it's probably going to be a problem. Okay, now make sure to have notifications on, because there are things like this future gun, and also like in our previous video with the one-shot shotgun, it was a bug. Okay, and for about 24 hours, the members of the Academy who had notifications on were able to enjoy it, but if you're watching that close range video now, well, it no longer applies. But without further ado, let's get into the ARs and the LMGs that are going to be taking over. And this is where it is so much fun, because the meta has changed up so much, and it's one of the most diverse and fun Warzone metas we've had in a long time. So real quick, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the numbers, and we're going to show why things like the Ram 7 are so dominant. Okay, take a look at what we've got right here. We're once again on True Game Data site. We're looking at 300 HP and a combination TTK. So a combination of chest, head, legs, limbs, etc. And oh my gosh, the Ram 7 is the fastest killing assault rifle LMG in the game right now. And it is so fun to use, especially with the build that I'm about to show you. But the best thing is, when you factor in things like sprint to fire or ADS time, it just gets better and better and better because it's so mobile. And for someone like me who loves the Ram 7 back from my Verdansk days, it makes my heart so full. One thing to keep in mind though, the gun that a lot of people are using, the Pulemyot, has amazing damage, amazing bullet velocity, but when you factor in things like ADS time or sprint to fire, some of those mid-range fights, the TTK isn't as dominant as people think. And it's amazing damage potential with a 100-round mag, but it's not as incredible. And I still see people crutching it as their only AR. And we're going to be covering some other options today that might be a little bit better. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the Ram 7 build, which is an improvement of my previous Ram 7 build. So you guys know the Ram 7, ideally you're going to have to run iron sight. It's because, well, you need some recoil mitigating attachments. But if you notice, there is actual recoil where the gun moves a little bit, but the visual recoil that we know for so many of the guns in the game, where it's like, you know, shaking your screen apart as you're shooting. Oh my gosh. It feels like I'm shooting on Verdansk, and it is not the Jack BFB attachment. Now, I love the Jack BFB attachment, but we know it makes us show up as an advanced UAV on the map, and everyone sees us and hunts us down. It is the Cassis break. Even though it might seem like, Isaac, it only does 18%. Even if we were to go to something like the RF Crown, which also helps out by 18%, there's something bugged with that attachment where you see how much more like shake there is on the screen, and it might be tough to tell if you're on mobile, but trust, you will feel it when you go into game. The Cassis is a laser. So we're rocking Cassis, Bruen heavy support, 60-round drum. The HVS stock helps out so much with gun recoil kick, and then you crone in headwind. You could go all the way to the Jack BFB, but I don't think it's necessary. And honestly, I don't think it helps out that much more than the Cassis. If you're struggling to control the recoil, I would go with the Jack BFB because it takes away a little bit of that horizontal shake. But if you're more of a confident player with your iron sights, maybe a little bit better with recoil control, and you want to avoid the punishment of the Jack BFB, I would go with the Cassis. So this is what I would suggest for a little bit of a higher level player. If you are struggling with recoil, go ahead and throw on the Jack BFB. But go ahead and make sure you take your screenshot. So I'm loving the Ram. That's kind of my go-to. That's what a lot of competitors are using as their go-to as well. But we have to keep in mind the trusty PKM, okay? The PKM, once again, we know we're not going to cover it in too much depth. 100-round mag. With that conversion kit, we have to keep in mind that conversion kit all the way down here provides us that luxury of having things like a significantly faster ADS, a significantly faster sprint to fire, which helps mitigate for some of the things we saw in the graph earlier, and it shoots pretty dang straight. One of the themes that we're going to see as we go through some of these builds is that you really have the option, in my opinion, between two main muzzle attachments. It's either going to be the Spirit Fire Suppressor, which is going to help us out with bullet velocity, which is really important for long-range engagements. It also helps out with recoil control as well. Or you could throw on the Jack BFB. But we have to keep in mind, we're no longer going to be suppressed, one, and two, we're going to lose bullet velocity. So the higher skilled player will opt for the Spirit Fire Suppressor because it keeps us off the minimap and it helps out with their bullet velocity. Someone who maybe struggles a little bit with recoil control will rock the Jack BFB, but you need to keep in mind that it is going to cause less bullet velocity. So you're going to have less recoil, but you're going to need to lead your target a little bit more. But as we can see from this, it works. The Jack BFB with the minus 60, 20, 40, it works. Okay, so here is the build that I would suggest for the, I would say even like the average to intermediate player. It would be this build right here with the Hound Grip, Spirit Fire, Jack Annihilator, Choreo, and the Jack Annihilator Bullpup conversion. Heading on to number 4. This one was actually recommended to me like a month ago by Joe Woe, and I was shocked. I did not think I was going to enjoy it that much, and I loved it when I played with it. And now that we have the Jack BFB, it just got even better. It's the DG58, the LMG variant, and I mean, we haven't seen that level of recoil control since like Verdansk, boys. Like, this thing shoots straight, like very, 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 very straight. This is a lot of fun to use. So we are using the Jack BFB, but even though we're using the Jack BFB, look at that bullet velocity. We still have 1,000 meters per second. Typically in this game, I'm shooting for around 900 meters per second with most of my meta builds for bullet velocity. This has 1,000 with the Jack BFB. You could throw on something like the Spirit Fire and get up to 1,100, but we throw on the long barrel, the Bruen heavy support, the Mark III reflector, and the recoil reduction butt plate. And this gun, as you see, is a laser. We looked at it on the stats earlier. It was in that graph. It's in the meta. Not as fast as the Ram 7, but faster than the PKM. This gun is a lot of fun to use. I'm not sure why the weapon isn't showing up for you guys right here, but here is the screenshot for the DG58. This is one that I don't see a lot of people talking about. I think it's underrated. Shout out to Joe Woe for shouting it out for me. I didn't even know it was worth using, but the stats back it up, and obviously with the feel that you got right there, it's a lot of fun to use. Attack Eradicator, you guys know for number 5, it's tried and true. It is the recoil control demon for iron sights. It used to be like the best gun in the game to use up until the Jack BFB came out. And honestly, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, that gun's moving a little bit. I got the Spirit Fire. Let me make it even better. Throw on the Jack BFB. And now all of a sudden, you have 75 rounds that my grandmother could shoot straight. I mean, it's just very, very dangerous to use. We have the FSS Combat Grip, the Core Stock, the Conquer Long Barrel, Jack BFB, and Bruen Heavy Support. What a lot of people are actually opting to do is, because the recoil control is so easy on this gun, is they are ditching the Combat Grip and throwing on a thermal sight, because so many people rock smokes in this game, and now you're just really a huge pain for everyone else in the game, right? Because now you have thermal, and you can see through smoke, and you have 75 round mag, and it's one of the fastest killing guns in the game. It's a pretty toxic loadout, so something to try out. If you want to, you can ditch the Combat Grip for a thermal, and please don't run that in my lobbies. Heading on to the next one, we have the SVA, which once again was in that graph, killing almost as fast as the Ram 7. But the nice thing is you don't need every single attachment equipped to mitigate recoil, because the SVA has a better base recoil, great fire rate, great bullet velocity, and it allows us to have a 60 round mag and also have an optic, which the Ram 7 does not have that luxury. Little bit of a shaker. There's an alternate build I'm going to show you here in a moment. It's sad that I say a little bit of a shaker. It's sad that I say this is a little bit of a shaker, because with the Jack BFB in the game, every gun is shooting extremely straight. Like, I've always made the meme, like, if you need to buy a Cronus to control recoil in Call of Duty, like, you're screwed. Like, there's not much recoil in this game. Well, now more than ever, with this Jack BFB, every single gun shoots so dang straight. Like, I'm not moving my left stick. I'm not getting a rotational aim assist. I'm literally just kind of lazily sitting here trying to control recoil, and it's just that dang easy in the game right now, okay? So the build that we have right here is the Jack BFB, Bruen Heavy Support Grip, 60 round mag, Choreo Eagle's Eye, and SVT Precision Barrel. But heading on to number 7, it gets even better. Okay, I would especially suggest this for my Rebirth Demons. We're going to change up one attachment, and we're going to turn it into an iron sight build that is legitimately probably some of the lowest recoil I've ever seen on a gun. I mean, what? So as always, you know, make sure whenever you're actually testing out a true TTK for some of these guns, you're going to throw on 3 plates. But I mean, look at my hand cam. I'm barely pulling down on my right stick, and the iron sights aren't shaking. I'm not getting rotational aim assist here. It's a lot of fun to use, especially if you're in those close range maps where, you know, you don't need that long range sight and you just want to be a little bit more, you know, aggressive. You can challenge people even with those iron sights all the way across, you know, 50 to 100 meters. Yes, you may not be ripping people off head glitches, but you're not doing that without a sniper anyways. It's a lot of fun to use. So what we did is we ditched the Corio Eagle Eye for the main V6 stock. And the stock is actually incredible. 21% visual recoil reduction is amazing for a stock. Precision barrel, Jack BFB, heavy support, 60-round mag. It's a lot of fun for an iron sight build. If you guys are enjoying these, if they look a little bit promising to you and you're excited to use them in game, make sure to drop a like if you haven't already. It helps out the channel a lot. So now we're going to get into something that I got slammed by, and I didn't realize it was this good. It's the MTZ762. It caught a slight nerf in the most recent update, but it's still incredibly viable. If anything, it's even more viable because it used to be an only high skill player's gun because the recoil was so rough. Well, look there on the end of the barrel, we have the Jack BFB, and guess what? Now a gun that normally would be impossible to control for the average player. And boys, this gun shoots nukes. I might not use this in quads because, you know, you need a little bit more damage per mag, depending on how much. If you're stacking with your team, you'll be fine. But if you're doing like solo quads, duo quads, stuff like that, it might be a little bit tougher. But solos or duos, boys, this is one of those guns where, you know, if you hit someone all the way across the map, and not only does this have amazing damage drop off, like this does insane damage across the map. It's one of those where, like, you know, sometimes you'll hit someone 2, 3, 4 times and you're like, cracked, fleshed. How is he not dead? This is one of those where every single bullet does so much damage because it's a battle rifle that it's jarring to die to. 46 damage for each bullet to the upper chest. Okay, so we have Jack BFB, Bruen heavy support, the precision barrel, 30-round mag, and then the Corio's Eagle Eye. The MTZ762 is not fun to run up against because it hits like a truck. You guys probably have so many screenshots of me on your phone. I'm flattered, or maybe I'm scared. I don't know. Heading into number 9, we're bringing back one of the OGs. Once again, this is one of those where you can opt for either the Spirit Fire or the Jack BFB, but if you throw on the Jack BFB, it feels like Verdansk all over again. It's the Bruen. And while it may have a little bit of visual recoil, the actual recoil is very, very easy to control and a lot of fun to shoot. I wish they would just, you know, as you shoot, I don't know if there's any dev listening, all of that muzzle flash, it may not seem like much when you're shooting it, but when you go frame by frame, it covers up so much of your screen. The smoke covers up so much of your screen, and this is with every gun in the game, not just the Bruen. If they got rid of that, just got rid of all the visual recoil and let us focus on actual recoil, this game would play so much better. A guy can dream. But don't let the visual recoil scare you, because the actual recoil is very, very easy to control. Once again, I'm not even baiting in any rotational aim assist with my left stick here. And it is a very, very, very easy to control gun. If you're someone who is pretty confident with their recoil control, what you can do is, once again, ditch that Jack BFB, throw on the Spirit Fire, which is going to add our bullet velocity up to what I consider to be like kind of the minimum, around the 900 mark. With the Jack BFB, you're about 880. If you're good at controlling recoil, I would throw on that Spirit Fire, and then boom. Still very, very, very easy to control. This is what I would lean towards if I were you. The Spirit Fire. If you struggle with recoil, you can obviously go with the Jack BFB, but this is my go-to Bruen loadout. Ladies and gentlemen, we're heading into number 10. Once again, I have one more build coming out later in the week. I might not put it out. I'll be honest. That video might not drop, but if the numbers reflect, I need to do some testing later today. If the numbers reflect how good I think it's going to be, it's going to be a problem. Okay. I never want to release a build or a gun that I'm not 100% confident in. Okay. And so that's why I'm not necessarily baiting it. I want to make sure I'm not giving you guys BS. I put a lot of time into my videos. That's why I release less videos than most other people who just do a gun a day, 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 and just kind of like clip and ship. And, you know, I want the most action-packed, the most valuable content I can here on this first channel. So I hope you understand. That's why I do the things that I do. I make so many videos that I scrap just because I only want, you know, the best for the Academy. Okay, so I hope you guys appreciate that. I hope you understand that if I don't post a lot of content, it's because I want only bangers. I want, when you see an IceManIsaac video, it is gold. And that's the goal. So without further ado, heading in to number 10, it is something I did not expect to come out of the woodworks. It's the Holger 2.6, not the Holger 5.56, which was the meta in the MW3. It's the Holger 2.6, which is the LMG variant. Okay, this gun shocked me. I was not expecting it to be as good as it is statistics wise. I saw some people talking about it on Twitter. I went on to Tony's site, True Game Data, linked in the description, and a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Now, I put it last because I haven't put a lot of reps in with the gun, and I also think it has a little bit more recoil than some of the other options on the list, but it's kind of middle of the pack for what a lot of the other guns that we were talking about. Better than the PKM, not as good as the Ram, but with a default 60 round mag, decent movement speed, and with that Jack BFB, it just made so many guns that weren't meta a viable option. The Jack BFB makes the Holger 2.6 a worthwhile gun using. So a Bruen Heavy Support, Jack BFB, Factory Barrel, Corio's Eagle Eye, and then down below my cam is the Morn Grip. And this is the 10th weapon of the day. Make sure, ladies and gentlemen, if you are screenshotting, make sure to subscribe. Finally, if you want more coaching, you can check out my second channel. If you want more gameplay, high kill gameplay of me and also perfected builds, you can check out my third channel. If you missed the close range video, that'll be linked at the end of today's video. And then finally, if you are looking for more people to play with, if you're kind of bored running solos inside of Urzikstan or Rebirth Island, check out the Warzone Academy Discord. That will be linked in the description. That's where you can find other members of the Academy who use my builds and use my strategies, or more than likely are older, more mature people, dudes in their 20s and 30s and 40s who like aren't going to be a pain to play with. I mean, hey, you can be. I got plenty of you know, youngins who are, you know, I just dated myself so much with that. Okay, we got a lot of cool dudes here in the Academy, man. If you're looking for new people to play with, check out the Warzone Academy Discord. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thank you so much for the support on the videos. Comment down below with your solicited dad advice. Again, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, War Thunder. For a limited time only, you can click the link down in the pinned comment and the description to not only play for free on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, but also get access to a bonus pack with so much limited time premium content. Huge thank you again to them for sponsoring today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.